29th of May, Rabbi Furst, Mishna Berura.
Nun Aleph. I think let's start the Mechaber again. Let's see. Eliezer Tzvi would like to read.
Which Sif?
That's Sif Aleph. We were in the middle of the Mechaber and the Mr. Berura. Let's just reread it again just to get a running start on where we're holding here. Sif Aleph. Kuftan Aleph Sif Aleph.
Bati Kinesios, Bati Midrashos, Ein Hagim Behen, Kalos Rosh Kagon, Schok, the Hitul, the Siach Betela, Bin Ochlin, Shusosim Behem, Blo Mit Kashtin Behem, Blo Metalin Behem. Blo Niknas, well, let's start translating it. In base Knesset and a base Medrash, you should not act frivolously in them, such as playing. What's chitul?
Chitul is
laughing.
Like laughing, like levity. I mean, shouldn't be gaming in them, and shouldn't have levity in them.
Okay. And no useless idle chatter, useless chatter. You don't eat and drink in them. Miskashtin.
You don't groom yourself in them.
Okay. Velo mitayalin. You'll pass through them. Usually
Right. Shouldn't pass through them, right?
Okay. Lo nichnasim behem bechama mipnei chachama ubegishamim b'nei v'sham. You go into inside them in the summer because of the heat, and in the winter because of the rain. The Talmidei Chachamim and their students, Mutar Achol Lisos Vahem Midchak, and the Talmidei Chachamim and their students are allowed to eat and drink in them when it's necessary. The Yishomim, the base Medrash, Afim Shalom Midchak, Shari, and there are those who say that in the base Medrash, even though it's not necessary, they're allowed to eat and drink there. Then Mechashvin Bahem Cheshbonos Elohim Kain Hem Shel Mitzvah. And you don't do your accounting there unless it has something to do with the mitzvah. Kagon Kupa Shel Tzedakah Upidin Shvuyim, such as the keeping track of the tzedakah money or money to rescue captives. V'ain maspidim bahem. You don't make hespedim there,
right?
Well, that's interesting.
You'll see Elohim Kain.
Elohim Kain yeh hesped la'acher la'acher migdoli ha'ir shekol b'nei ha'ir miskab. Sin Ubam Lehispedo. Unless it's something that's very important where everybody in town is going to come for the hesped. If you have to go into them because of your needs, you go likro autumn to talk to somebody. You go in and talk a little bit. O Yomer Davar Shmur Ba'achach Yikro. You say over something you heard. A Dvar Torah is he talking about? So is that what he's saying? Dvar Shmur.
That you don't go in, right? To go in for your needs. That is, for example, if you want to call somebody who's in there, to call him. But if you do, then if you need to go in for your own needs, right? Let's say you're outside the yeshiva and someone's wife is outside the shiva. She says, "Can you call my husband out for me?"
Right.
So you weren't planning. So what's your heter to go into the base Knesset or the base Medrash? So therefore, could go in the Kro Adam in order to call somebody out. So what do? You kanes. That's where you're going in. V'yikra ma'at. You go in and you learn. You go in and learn a little bit. Or Roma Davar Shomer. You say some type of a mimer. You say Shnai Moksi Vatalis. You read a Mishna yourself or something else.
Okay. I'll talk to you, and then you take care of any business you take care of. So it doesn't look you came into the base measures just for your own private purposes. Doesn't know how to read or doesn't know how to answer. You ask one of the children who's there to repeat one of the pasukim that they're learning. Okay. Or he should wait there for a little bit before he leaves. Yeshiva bahem mitzvah, because sitting in the base medrash is a mitzvah. Shemar asher yoshvei beisacha, you should sit in his house in his house. Shir hashiva kadei hiluch shtei pesachim. What shnei pesachim is
if it happens to have right you should go in and sit there. The shir yeshiva kadei yehol base pesachim. We'll see the Mr. Bro what he explains it like the amount of time it takes to walk 2 pasichim, like 2
steps.
Yes, like steps.
Okay. Uldas hayesh meforshim kisimin sadik sof sifchaf. Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's see. We left off in okay. That we said here, Talmid Chachamim Talmidehem Mutarim LaOchel V'Shtos BeMudacha. That brings us to Sif Cotton Hay in the Mr. Brewer.
Mutaris?
Yes.
Okay. V'huadin im hutrachu anshe ha'ir l'fi shah v'ha'achil b'hem orchim aniyim, and this is the case if the people of the city need time to feed their the poor visitors to the city, lahashkisem sham, or to house them there, then it's mutter. Aval zehu rak dafka b'bati kinesios shebechutz la'aretz. This is in Beis Knesset that's outside of Eretz Yisrael. The Eishoshim Gambazeh, and there are those who are offered even there. The Nira de become the Hadchak in the Hachmir Bezed. And in times of necessity, we shouldn't be machmir about this. Lecho Lishta, to eat or drink. Huadin Lishon Deshari. And it's also that sleeping would also be permitted. Avalasos Kapandria, to use it as a shortcut. Lakones Bahem Behema. Behema, Chama, Behama in this, or to come into there in the sun, in the summer because of the sun or the heat, or the winter because of the rain. Okay. The Kohani, the Lakamai we're talking about later on, the Kol Shekain Schok Hitul Lusiach Patela. And certainly, to check previously, Asr is going to be Asr. The Oto Talmid Chachamim Enu Muzer Al Moa Mikdash, because the Talmid Chacham is not warned.
I mean, this is like a rhetorical question. That because he's a Talmid Chacham, he's not warned about Mora Mikdash. He's not worried about he doesn't have to be concerned about the Mora Mikdash, the fear of the Mikdash, the sanctuary. Meaning they have the compensation where they can eat and drink and perhaps even sleep there, but all the other things which are
Ah,
things which are
right.
taking away from the sanctity of the base medrash or of the yeshiva or the base medrash, that they have no permission to do simply because they're Talmidei Chachamim.
Okay. Midochak, which is, hold on.
Is that good?
It's a necessity. By necessity?
Yeah, by necessity, meaning the Mechaber said that the Talmidim Chachamim and the Talmidim, they can eat and drink there if it's a necessity, right?
Right.
So what is
Okay.
now that Mr. Burrs explained, what does it mean necessity?
Hainu Shahaya Makom Dachok Talmidim. Talmidim, there's a place that was reserved for the students. They're permitted to eat there, or they need to eat there. The Hamagan Avram Kosav, the Anashim Halomdim Sham, the Gvuas, the people who learn there every day, Olam Sha'as Chachchachu, then it's always a time of necessity for them. For who Yitztaref, Lelech Le'echol Elishtos, the Beso, the Vadai Yitbato Milanda, because if they have to go back to their houses to eat and drink, they're going to be Mavatal, they're learning too much. Okay, so therefore, if they learn all the time, then they're allowed to eat and drink in the base medrash. The base medrash or base medrash. They don't learn the base knesses, the base medrash. Asur lechol lishtos sham. It's also to eat and drink there. The kain hiskimu bekama achronim. That's what many achronim say. The yishom to base medrash, then it would be permitted. Okay, after kedushas base medrash. Even though the base medrash is more, the kedusha base medrash is more common than the base knesses. So come on, the Simon Kufnan Gimel Sif Aleph. We say that in Kufnan Gimel Sif Aleph. Shule de Inyan Chachamim V'Talmidehem of the Chachamim and their students. Shalom them so that learn there because in all the time or because they have a set place to learn there. Yitu Lahem Afilu Shalom Edzchak. We march to them to eat and drink even when it's not a necessity. We should the base medrash, who base it because the base medrash is their house. Not specifically eating and drinking. Sorry, then any of their other needs would be permitted there.
Right.
Shari is permitted. I'm the levush with the bach. Mitstadin call Dina, Kain Dina.
Right, that they decide the halacha that this is the way it is, meaning that the Tatchila, Talmidei Chachamim and Talmideihem, they Tatchila can eat and drink in the base medrash and in the beit knesset.
V'kein nirish ein l'hachmir l'anashim shalomdim sham kol yom. And it appears that you shouldn't be strict with those people who learn there all day. Ha'ir of the city, right? Yep, we're still there.
Let's see 1 second.
You still there? No, we're not. Hold on.
Maybe let's take a look in this Shartzin in your base at the bottom there. The Shartzin in your base. Mr. Burr said you don't have to be machmir about people learning there all day.
V'af b'Yerushalmi Yerushalmi Isa b'Shem Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. It's stated in the name of Yeshua ben Levi. Beis Medrash Beis Knesses Lachamim U'Talmidehem. Beis Medrash Beis Knesses for the Chachamim and their students. Mashma Ushnehem Shavanhim, that they're both equal in this case. The Beis Medrash and the Beis Knesset is what's equal. Okay. We keep the Beis Medrash Dafka Mizchok who adin the base measures. Then in the base Knesset, it's when it's required, that also applies to the base measures also. Yeshomer, those who say you can say the MS mi shalomed the kvias sham. Somebody who learns habitually there. Im yitztarech leilech lahafshet makom lachilo shtia. If you have to go out to find another place to eat and drink, or Lashar Tashmishov, or take care of any of his other needs, Gam Zeh Bechlal Dachachu. This is, this is also considered a necessity. Ukmo She Ha'arech Hamagan Avram Bezeh, and that's the Magan Avram goes into great length there. Menuchal Tzarech Lazeh Das or Zerua, and it's correct to add there the explanation or Zerua, the material of Talmidei Chachamim B'kol Makom, who permits it for Talmidei Chacham in any place.
I mean, whether it's a Beit Knesset or a Beit Medrash. Talmid Chacham can, according to these opinions, is halacha. This halacha l'maisa. Talmid Chachamim they can eat and drink, whether it's in shul or whether it's in the yeshiva. That's of course if they don't have any other place to eat. If they have some place to eat, they certainly shouldn't eat in the basement. Right.
Okay. Yoredea Ramu Shach Sifkatan Tesvav the Chidushe Rabbi Kiva Eger. Go see Yoredea Reshmem Vav the Shach and the Shach Sifkatan Tesvav, and in the Rabbi Akiva Eger.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, good. Let's continue on. Let's see 1 second. It might be take a look. There's a bir halacha. You see, ain't ochlim b'shosim behem. You don't eat and drink in the shuls in the base medrash. First bir halacha there. Ain't ochlim b'shosim behem.
Right. In ochlim b'shosim, you don't eat and drink in the base medrash. Osher lishos mayim b'beis haknesses. It's also to drink water in the base haknesses, base medrash and the base medrash. L'misha enu talmid chacham. Somebody's not a talmid chacham. True is the Rashba, Simon Reish Tzadik Dalid. See, this is in the True is the Rashba, the Rashbash, in Simon Reish Tzadik Dalid. The Minig Atah Sheshostin Ha'am Mayim Bebesa Knesses, and the Minig has developed that people do drink water in the Besa Knesses. Be'efsher Somchen Ha'olam Al HaSovereign the Bate Knesses, the Bate Knesiot Shebechutz La'aretz. Yeah, there's talking about the Beis Knesses that's outside of Eretz Yisrael. Al Tanai Hein Osuin, that Tanai was established when they built them in the first place. Umal Af B'Yeshivan. Be Yeshuvan, and it helps also that they're sitting.
When they're in their yeshiva, when they're when they're in their state of established, they're established. Meaning they're not in the korbanot, they're not in the state of destruction.
Okay. Well, he said
We're going to see later. The Mechaber is going to talk about this point about the Tanai, that in Chutz La'aretz the assumption is that when they built the Bati Kinesios and Bati Medrash and Chutz La'aretz, they were built on Tanai that they would eventually be broken down and brought to Eretz Yisrael. So it gives them less of a kedusha than if they were built permanently to be in that spot.
Okay. Ufizeh Eretz Yisrael in Tam Leheter. And because of this, in Eretz Yisrael, there is no reason to matter people eating and drinking Bate Knesset and Bate Midrashos, which
Right,
is
because
certainly
in Eretz
observed
Israel,
in,
there was no such Tanai that they would be broken down and moved from place to place.
and it is certainly observed in the breach than the observance,
Right,
because
right,
people do it all the time. Certainly, with
right,
with drinking your coffee and water all the time.
right.
Now, when they were osir, was it just stam drinking, or if you're sitting and learning, you have a cup of coffee with you, or you have a glass of water with you while you're learning?
Right.
Is that a different category type of thing, or different?
So that's really a question. Again, in Chutz La'aretz, in Chutz La'aretz, they were made, and we assume they were made on the Tanai, so they have less essential sanctity than a base medrash or a base Knesset here in Eretz Yisrael. So in Chutz La'aretz, there's more of a place to be making. In Eretz Yisrael, it's a little bit hard to justify allowing people to eat and drink, even when if they're not learning their kavias, or again, you have to understand, what does it mean kavias? I mean, if there's going to be you're going to have a shir right after davening, like a breakfast shir, right?
Right.
So if it's going to be actually in the big Knesset, right, or in the base medrash, so it's a little bit more difficult to justify how they can eat and drink there regularly without having. If there was a Tanai, meaning when they built it originally, they made a conditional clause that they would be permitted to eat and drink under certain circumstances, then it'd be okay. And I think in most cases it's done, because they will see the halacha. The halacha, since they know that you assume that people who built the Beit Knesset and the yeshiva, Beis Medrash, they knew the halachas. So if that's the case, they knew the halachas, and therefore it was built on the conditional statement that people could do those things, right?
Sure.
So that's probably what most times where you see that people are eating and drinking, having sharing with drinks and such. So that's probably what they're relying on. As we go further on with halachas, we'll see how this plays out, and then we're going to try and understand lamaisa. Is it what you see that people do in fact eat and drink in Eretz Yisrael, especially? It's more of a difficulty. On what basis are they allowed to do that? So we'll have to wait to try and have to see all the halachas together, and then we'll try and get to an understanding of what's going on lamaisa. All right, we'll continue tomorrow, and we'll hopefully get more clarity on it as we go on.
All right.
Thank
Have
you,
a good day,
thank you very
everybody.
much. Very good. Thank you, Lou, and thank you, Mary. Should have a good day. Hope to see
Thank
you
you,
tomorrow.
Rabbi. Thank you, Eliezer.
Be well.
Okay, bye now.